Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Falillahil hamdu rabbus samawati wa rabbul ardi rabbul alamin. Wa lahul kibriya'u fis samawati wal ardi. Wa huwa azizul hakim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. Subhan rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin.
Amin. Shukran, Imam Jalal. Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Lord God Jehovah, the I am that I am, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the Creator of all humankind throughout the whole world. In you, all human beings live, move, and have our being. You are the one who sustains all life. And so we give you the praise, the honor, the might and the majesty, and the adoration and glory. We thank you for the TRRC, and we continue to commit all the witnesses that will come before us today. Pray that you will grant them the boldness to be able to speak the truth. Grant the commission the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. Grant the Gambian populace and all those that are in the diaspora the patience to be able to see through the due process of these sittings. And you, the just judge, will reward each and everyone accordingly. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Bishop Odiko. In 1999, the General Assembly of the United Nations, designated by its resolution 3054/134, designated 25th of November as International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. It has now become tradition to observe that day over a 16-day period, which started yesterday. We will have Commissioner Jones speak on this observance day on behalf of the Commission. Commissioner Jones, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'll be reading the statement on behalf of the Commission. November 25th is celebrated annually around the world as a day to recognize women's plight and challenges, especially as it relates to sexual and gender-based violence. The violation of women in the homes, schools, workplaces, religious spaces, communities, streets, and others cannot be overlooked, overemphasized, or ignored. In the year 2020, along with the various challenges already faced by women, COVID-19 has had devastating social and economic consequences on women and girls all around the world. It has further proven the need to empower, take stock, and prevent reoccurrences of these violations. This year's global theme, Orange the World, Fund, Respond, Prevent, Collect, is amplifying the call for global action to bridge funding gaps, ensure essential services for survivors of violence during the COVID-19 crisis, focus on prevention and collection of data that can improve life-saving services for women and girls. Beyond COVID-19, however, there should be sufficient funding for women empowerment initiatives, along with equal pay for women, quick response to victims and survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, prevention of all forms of violence against women in all spaces, and collecting and storing of disaggregated data on different forms of violence against women to inform policies and programs. We welcome the creation of the 24-hour toll-free gender-based violence hotline in the Gambia, a partnership between the Ministry of Women, Children and Social Welfare and Paradise Foundation as a first step to curbing this crisis. Notwithstanding, we call on women and girls to make use of this service should need be by calling the number 1313. The TRRC once again commits its resolve to continue to thoroughly investigate issues of sexual and gender-based violence as part of our mandate to create a historic and impartial record of human rights violations that occurred in the Gambia between July 1994 and January 2017. As of today, we have heard testimonies from 65 women and 10 sexual and gender-based violence survivors. In order to be able to fully establish the extent and scope of violations against women, we reiterate the need for victims to share their stories with us. We reassure you that the TRRC is a safe space, and utmost respect and confidentiality is assured and guaranteed for everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones, for those remarks on behalf of the Commission. Commissioner Jones is the chairperson of the Committee on Child Protection and Gender Issues, and it is a subsidiary body of the Commission. Council, if we are ready with this morning's witness, please proceed to bring him in.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and members of the audience. May I ask that the witness be brought in, please? Thank you.
I, Lamin Baaji.
I, Lamin Baaji.
Do swear that.
Do swear that.
I'll speak the truth.
I will speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
Help me Allah.
You may be seated, please.
Thank you.
Mr. Baaji, welcome to the TRRC.
Mr. Baaji, Bismillah TRRC.
Thank you, Welcome.
I know that you are fluent in the English language. But we have agreed that you would speak in the Mandinka language. So you should allow for the interpretation between what I say in English and what the interpreter says to you in Mandinka. Because you understand English very well, there would be the temptation that you would start answering even before you hear the interpretation. So I encourage you to listen first to the Mandinka interpretation before you respond. You should also allow for 3 seconds at least between your speech and that of the interpreter so that your speeches would not overlap. I hope that is understood.
Yes, I understand.
Mr. Baaji, you have just taken an oath to speak the truth.
Mr. Baaji ye kalota sign andum wala nyindi ko ebe to nyale fala.
As a matter of procedure, I would just inform you that it is a criminal offense to lie under oath in this country.
Comme ko be la renja nyame wala nyindi ko ni kalota ibina sedandiro dila nyimbankun kanja inata na faniya vo mukule me alon ko luwati nyalem.
It is also a violation of the TRRC Act to provide false information to the Commission.
Anen kabi fanan TRRC fanan na fanna la nyim fanan luwati nyalde pour ka kuma fo me alon ko kuma soto balolem TRRC nyati le ngola jang.
Do you understand?
Jikita ko yenna nyine kuma kawol nyiya fahamle.
I understand.
Before I start, I would want to inform you about the topics we would discuss.
Nimba da mutala kachanyi mbela flaka wala dalu fo embe men kachala nyinsiyo to jambi.
Briefly, we would discuss your background and biographical information.
Follow la men wala ite fango kundi wala kibaro ti ite la mjumati kontong e wuluta mintola ni besiri mintole.
And his biographical information that deals with his employment and his progression in his career.
Akwela biographical information wala mnyindi ko ibe do ko la mintole andu muna mwila do ko ti mune karang.
We would also discuss the time in the army when you were first exposed to the work of the NIA when you took some Kambai to the NIA.
Ila do ko fanan sojira wi ci nyin kono ani wato men fanan ye la ko nyi lankena ma ke samba NIA anin ye samba sam Kambai.
Then we would talk about your redeployment to the NIA as Director General.
Ndumbe kachala fanna la fana wato men ye samba NIA ke samba je do ko la pour que coordinate tije.
We would talk about the working arrangements that you sought to put in place at the NIA.
Kachala fana fanna la ye do ko bulul mel landi pour yemel landi no membe kala no NIA jeto itala fanna la.
We would discuss at least one of the problems you encountered at the NIA, that is the issue of Lamin Kabu.
Be kachala fana ko la me alon ko ye kole akol men sodoje andunga sujita men na wala mu ka me Lamin Kabu.
We would also talk about your redeployment or your removal from the NIA and redeployed to the military headquarters.
Andumbe kachala fana ko la wala nyindi kabri ye bondi NIA narne murundi sojar kundaro do ko la kotanke.
Your subsequent arrest
ani narne muta kotanke
and interrogation
narne nyininka
that took place at the NIA.
No nyininkarol ni jabirol nyin keta min do la wala NIA ti.
Your accusation as a coupist in 2009 together with Langtombong Tamba and several others.
O ida bula to kude da kono sangola mem 2009 sango kono de ini Langtombong Tamba anin do kotangol.
Your incarceration, that is your imprisonment.
Ani ye sorondiro men kela.
And the efforts that were made to secure your pardon or clemency.
Anin katakul men fanam fereta fo inada na gagner inada ne bula yamfate ye bula.
Your subsequent release from prison.
Inada ne bula nyam fanam kasoro.
And your efforts to secure reinstatement with the Gambia government.
Anu inada na katakul men fanam fereta pour kani murundi do gudla do wala mansakunda do goto de.
And the final decision of the government reinstating you but not paying you salaries and so forth.
Anin kataku mansakunda ni nata na murundi do gola nyame bari ila jol menya na jola imanna o jo.
Ma foko jol menya na jola. I am saying that salaries he claimed which were not paid.
Ila jol menya na jola andu imanne jo.
I jolu menu kaning bari imanna jo.
I think that is more precise. Thank you very much. Sometimes it is important that we get these things right because otherwise it conveys an impression that is not there. Sorry for being pedantic, but we just have to address those issues. So, Mr. Baaji.
Mr. Baaji.
Are you good to go? Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes, Mr. Baaji. What are your full names?
Tony Kontong
Lamin Bo Baaji. My names are Lamin Bo Baaji.
I see in your documentation that your Baaji is spelled differently.
nga jela kaytol kono je ye Kontong spell nyameng aning do ifaratale.
Reminds me very well of Kekoto Mane, who used to spell our names very differently. This one is B-A-A-J-I, correct?
Ko folam ba men spell B-A-A-J-I.
Yes.
And
you were born on 20 January 1964, correct?
Me wuruda January karo til muang 1964 po kolamba.
And you were born in Talinding, Kunjang.
And we will Talinding Kunjan.
Yes.
That is in Kanifing Municipal Council.
Kanifing Municipal Council, Kanifing Tundoka.
Yes.
And you are married with 3 children.
And on Din Sabay also, ila futu kono.
Yes.
I am doing it this way so that we can move very quickly. Tell us about your schooling.
Kuma fanyela londi londo karangonyi nda ya damu da mindole.
Kuma Serekunda Primary School. I started at the Serekunda Primary School
1973 to 79.
From 1973 to 1979.
And then where did you go to after that?
Pakalinding Secondary Technical School.
I went to Pakalinding Secondary Technical School.
79 to 83.
From 1979 to 1983.
And then?
Tata Muslim High School.
Then I went to the Muslim High School.
83 to 86.
From 1983 to 1986.
And what certificate did you attain at Gambia Muslim High School?
Gambia Muslim High School, you mun certificate si valal sotoje.
GCE O level.
I got the GCE O level certificate.
And what did you do after your O levels?
Biliela O level bang makamo londi kandango nyimba yemenake.
Kabingana O level bang joined the armed forces.
After completing my O level, then I joined the armed forces.
Which year?
Sanjuma.
1987. January 1987.
January 1987.
When did you finish your training?
Yela karang nying bang wadi jumala sojar karang.
Nga bang kariworo kabring joined.
I completed my training at the end of 6 months after I joined the army.
Is it correct to say that when you finished, you were first posted at the infantry unit at Yundum Barracks?
Fonyi mutu wanyalde banka foko
C company.
Bri yela londi karang nyimban sojeri ala karola yesam badami wolem infantry battalion Yundum Barracks C company.
Yes.
And in 1988, you moved to the Senegambia Confederal Battalion.
1988 sound kono inata na sound kata Senegambia Confederation Battalion okoto.
Confederal Battalion.
Federal Battalion okoto.
Yes.
And of course, during your stay in the army, you have moved about quite a bit.
Andung to nyala nyindi go wato mene ibele wato kono sojare kundaro isaunta bakele kata dingira kabo dingira kata dingira.
I am going to use your statement to just get you to confirm the deployments you have had during your stay with the army.
Bemuna fanna inila kumakangol la men safe pour que la ko nying la sojare ya wijo nying kono ila nyaratal solo da nyame nga kare.
After your deployment with the Senegambia Confederal Battalion, in 1990, you were deployed to Liberia with ECOMOG.
Gabriela sojari karang bang Senegambia Confederal Army yesamba Liberia.
Yes.
With ECOMOG.
And ECOMOG lokoto.
And from 1991 to 1992, you commenced your career as an intelligence officer stationed at the Yundum Barracks, correct?
From 1991 kada 1992 yela londi karonge wala mkulo mara bundade sojar kundaro andung ibe yo ke damen do wolto mu yundum barracks.
Yes.
And well, since then you have worked on or as an intelligence officer with some intermittent deployments in other places.
Nung kabro wato la fo itarta wolto katara be kullo sojaro la fanna la kullo maranya la andu itarta jele ike soundi dingirano dingirado watini wadila.
For instance,
yes,
you worked at the State Guards Battalion from 1995 to 2002.
Misal fe ina yedu ko ke State Guard masakunda la mansala korda bar kabro 1995 kada for
2002.
2002.
Yes.
And also from 2004 to 2005, you were deployed with UNAMSIL in Sierra Leone.
2004 kata 2005 ana yesamba do ko la UNAMSIM koto kata kara sabatendo la Sierra Leone bango kan.
Yes.
And in 2005 to 2008, you were Director of Military Intelligence and Security.
2005 kata 2008 ita kita nyaton ko te memu kullo maranya de sojar kundaro Director of Intelligence.
Yes.
And that is with the Gambia National Army, correct?
Gambia National Army
or Gambia Armed Forces.
Gambia Armed Forces la koto.
Yes.
And in August 2008 to August 2009, you were appointed as Director General of the National Intelligence Agency.
August 2008 kata 2009 yeke Director General the National Intelligence Agency wolem korda tiuti meb marla NIA la.
Yes.
But in between all this period, you have done several courses in intelligence and also in VIP protection.
And ñu wicho ñul be kono ye karon ke fanna la mem intelligence ti wolem kullo maranyati aning kamo kumal ke be tankala nyame yo fanankele.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So now let's go to the details into the reasons why you are here to testify. Tell us about the first encounter you have had with the NIA when you had reason to escort someone to the NIA headquarters in Banjul.
Kuma fonye ining NIA la nyo sotolo wato men ye silo soto pour kamo dandang kas kata NIA.
Nga kibaro le soto mimbotana alfama.
I got information which came from a senior person.
Minketa defense chief of defense staff.
Which was the chief of defense staff.
Who was this at that time?
Lieutenant General Lantombon Tamba.
It was Lieutenant General Lantombon Tamba.
And this must have been in 2007 or thereabout.
2007 and katawe nyatola.
Yes.
Proceed, please.
Nata fonye ko nse Sam Kambai abe bola na farafenye na nata sa escort to NIA headquarters.
He told me that Sam Kambai is coming from Farafenye, and if he arrives here, let me escort him to the NIA headquarters.
Abra nata afutata nata adanda wole nyama NIA headquarters.
When he arrived, that's the way I escorted him to the NIA headquarters.
And who was this Sam Kambai?
Sam Kambai.
Sam Kambai mu sergeant oletino.
Sam Kambai was a sergeant.
In which force?
Abe second battalion.
He was in the 2nd battalion.
By that you mean he was a member of the Gambia Armed Forces?
Yes.
Proceed, please.
I
escorted him there.
Were you told in advance what Sam Kambai did?
Fo ya fo na janni wo bang Sam Kambai ay muneke.
Hani.
No.
So yours was just to escort him to the NIA?
Mundete do no men be bulola mi dronka tenten di ka sambaro ya dandang NIA.
Yes.
Were you given instructions as to where to take him at the NIA?
Fo e dula fo na mbada fo e kango dila ba ba sambal da to NIA sansan kono jeba.
Yes.
Where were you told to take him?
Ko ba sambala min tole.
DGI NIA.
I was supposed to take him to the DG at the NIA.
And tell us what, did you take him?
Fo ya sambale ba?
Sambale.
Yes, I escorted him there.
So tell us what happened when you arrived at the NIA.
Silang afonye muneketa biri futata NIA.
Abim futata reception auto.
When we reached the reception,
ni tandila ko lafta DG la jela.
I informed them that I wanted to see the DG.
When you took Sam Kambai, was he free or was he restrained in any way?
Biring ibe Sam Kambai iba sambala. Fo aba fambulle bang fo waranto fa abe de tole kono mada fa abe sitiri na ba waranto anya nyongol bang.
Aba fangol bulu?
Yes, he was free at that time.
Proceed, please.
And then?
Nga samba ye DG ya inadi yamuta.
Then they talked to the DG.
Then inatani Sam Kambai be sambanyola kata je.
Then they escorted both of us, myself and Sam Kambai, to the DG.
Abim futatala office auto.
When we reached his office,
inata fonye ko Sam Kambai anyanta apiala panel.
They told me that Sam Kambai should appear in front of a panel.
At this stage, do you recall who was the DG?
In Temben or Watola. For Yala Jumala Munum or that you did bang?
Hani malong because man dali nuala.
No, I don't know because I was not acquainted with the person at that time.
Okay, let me read you out the list of DGs at the NIA during the relevant period.
Batunga ni mol tol karaye many along ko he bunung ina naketa nyaton kolti NIA o watola o jamanola.
Okay. March 2006 to October 2006.
March karo 2006 cut off October karo 2006
was Harry P.F. Sambu.
Molam ikaw me Harry P.F. Sambu.
And then Pamudu Jallo was in November 2006.
O keta nyaton korje November karo 2006 sangole kono.
Then Captain Malamin Jaju was 13 December
karo tiltang anin saba
to sometime to June 2008.
Kata June karo 2008.
And then you have Benedict Mendy. Benedict
Jamme soto.
June 2008.
June karo 2008 sango.
To August 2008.
Kata August karo kono 2008.
And you took over from Benedict.
And we did not na Benedict lel palasota.
Okay. And you happen to have served as Director of Military Intelligence and Security in 2005 to 2008.
It is the Director of the Military and Intelligence in 2005 to 2008. So,
did I name the Director General of the NIA who was there at the time?
Ngai mol men to fote. Fonga moto sotole jele manga men fo ba me alon ko ay Director General yake o wato la ba.
Yes.
Who was it?
Jumala Omari ngai men tol fote.
Nga ajiki ko aseke no hakilo bimindi na wolang aseke no pajaloti.
Well, what I thought is that it could be Pajalo.
Thank you very much.
Nambara.
Okay, so you were asked to go to a panel.
Ye kanini ne ko eta kafo alpha kafo do emel londi panelo.
Can you tell us what happened when you went there?
Silang fa isa fo no nyamuna keta biri ina na futaje.
Birim futata je nyine foko Sam anyanta apiala paneloto.
When we arrived there, I was informed that Sam should face a panel.
Ya ye modi na jel to miya samba kata panelo wali.
They gave me somebody who should take him to that panel.
Where was the panel located?
Ning panelo ning abenu minto wala nuje.
Abe NIA headquarters jele.
It was at the NIA headquarters there.
Where in particular?
It's in a story building upstairs.
Thank you very much. When you went to the panel, tell us what you found.
Brida da nyim panel ro memu alpha kafoti melondi afanya ba yemen tarajeba.
NIA officers will do tarajele.
I found some NIA officers there.
Police will find jele.
But there were some police officers too.
And do you remember any one of them?
Yes.
Alaji Moore tarajele.
I found Alaji Moore there.
Alaji Moore, do you know his real name?
Alaji Moore, ya to fa londa ba.
Idrissa Diop.
His name is Idrissa Diop.
Who else did you find there?
Ninjuma Kotang, Yemen Taraje.
Jallo tarajele.
I found Jallo there.
Which Jallo?
Jallo Juma
No mala first name I remember.
I cannot remember Jallo's first name.
And who else?
Ninjuma killing.
Dul Molo.
I don't know the others.
Were there other NIA officers apart from Alaji Moore and Jallo?
Oh, NIA do kula kota ngol benu maberi jela ba ning abota Alaji Moore aning Jallo kontongo.
Dol bi jele.
Yeah, there were other people.
But you don't know their names?
Bari me to long.
Ma remember.
No, I cannot remember.
So what happened there?
Kabinga Sambaje.
When I took Sam to that panel,
Mfutata.
When we arrived at the place,
Cindy.
They told him to sit down.
Defana sita.
I also sat down.
Sita nyina kama.
I sat down on the reason that
Sam abotana armed forces le.
That Sam came from the armed forces.
Nate danku NIA.
Come and answer to the call of the NIA.
Lafta alon na janbe polaje Sam ya kumandi dalilo min.
Before leaving the place, I wanted to know the reason why Sam was brought to that place.
Bare sitaje ya nyininka atol na bodula na kontongola anabetami.
Well, they asked him his name, surname, his resident, and where he came from.
So in Atafoko, time or tatale.
And then they said that time has gone.
So suspend for Asamo.
So we are going to suspend until the following day.
Who was the head of this panel? As far as you know?
Ntenga jibe ko ngaji ko asekeno Alaji Morleti Idrissa Diop.
I think how I saw things, it could have been Idrissa Diop, Alaji More.
Why do you think so?
Because command ninkabo available.
Because he was the guy giving the commands.
So the panel was suspended till the next day. Kindly tell us what you did the next day.
Kabri iko ibe panel onyi fenkala Alaji More nata fonye wole nyamako Sam Titano abetalla jan.
When they said that the panel was going to be suspended till the following day, then Alaji More told me that Sam cannot go, he is going to remain here.
What did you understand that to mean?
Well, according to my observation, that is detention. He is detained.
And what did you do as a result?
When I realized that he has been detained,
maybe perhaps mba nyamendila wala mbe kumule fola wala mba kansula kakuma fale mi yalon ka asa fantankano.
Well, I think the reason for that is they didn't want me to go with him because they thought that I might talk to him, try to advise him so that he will be able to defend himself, so that I will tell him things that he will use when they start questioning him so that he can defend himself on whatever they ask him.
You would agree with me that with this you are only speculating.
Be sonna mala nyinna ko wo kuma kan kan ibe fanna kun ibe fan kun sun kunna mirol do na di kan oje.
Ah, menna mirol la ntela jero loti.
Yes, that's my own thought.
Okay, proceed, please.
And then
Inata foko wo samo somanda.
Then the following day in the morning,
Iba nyinin kala.
they said they will question him.
Wo samo somanda e wato min fo abe talang kononto nimma nyina talang kononto wala talang tamafa.
The following day, if I remember properly, it's from 9 or around 10 o'clock.
But not 30 minutes before wo wato.
But I came there 30 minutes before the time.
Mfutata.
I arrived there.
Seltan dunta holo nyukon.
I climbed the stairs and went into the hall.
Nga Sam tarasiri.
I found Sam sitting down there.
Sunuta bake.
I was very, very unhappy.
Why?
ya sabu
Atu ngaje minna. Nga nati je nyami ani nga tara nyami. Imanke kilit.
Well, the way I saw him, because I brought Sam there, the way we arrived there, and when I came the following morning, the way I saw him were quite different.
Kindly tell us what you saw that made you arrive at that conclusion.
silang afanyam bang mune ya sabu ifurata o kumfaro
Ye mune leje.
ye mune je men nana na kumfaro nyimbule sonno mokono
Ngaje Sam balobe nyami.
The way Sam's body was, how I saw it,
Kamunun fe momi lipa.
it looked like somebody who was beaten.
Adung liparo ni I marke ka balokan.
And the beating made marks on his body.
Did it appear to be very serious beating or just reasonable chastisement?
fo amulunde fele ko ye lipare sangara lingole kala fo amulunde fele dum lipare ndindro yole ka mari ala
Nte liparo fango in general wole fango indimi.
The beating itself is what pained me.
Just answer my question
nyinin
first.
karo jabiro
Did it appear to be very serious beating?
fo amulunde fele ko lipare sangara lingole kala bang
Ngalo ni kabi dimi ngole kono liparo dimintal.
I know that it was, he was in pain because that means that the beating was very serious.
What did you see on his body which suggested to you that the beating was serious?
yemu markle le ja balo bala me ya
I didn't
itandila
say Marco.
yemu ne ja balo bala me ya itandila ko ya bude bakele
Nga marke wole ja balo bala.
I saw marks on his body.
What type of marks?
markel si vale men ja
Busal
balo
nyal, busal dal.
Well, these were marks of where he was beaten.
Did you see any injuries on him?
bar mol ja balo bala bang
Because busarol ni I marke o kejele.
Yes, because the beating left marks on his body.
Did it leave any lacerations?
way farol so dale balo bala bang
Yes.
And did you see any blood on him?
e yelo fana ja bala bala
Or did he look bloody?
wa balo akide fe la balo fana yelo ba balo bala
Yellow bijel bara amanke ko yellow be bom kantene akamontala ko trom ko milimbirta do a boosta mulun kelke.
Yes. There were blood, some bits of blood on his body, but what one can recognize was that some parts of his body were swollen and some parts were bruised and so on.
To call it by its proper name, it appeared to you that he may have been tortured.
kumandi ka ko nyin kumandi afango tola wala nyindi ko mulunde fele ko ya lipale
Yeah, torture.
ya tochole ya tajire ya
Ya tochole ha nsota.
Yes, he was tortured. I agree to that.
And how did you feel when you saw this?
rinya ya je ite ya ko teje tanya di le fan fe
Sunu tala because nga mutako ya kem fangol.
I became very unhappy because it looked to me that it was done to me myself.
And as a result, did you say or do anything?
wodali do kan fo ye kuma fole ban warando fo ku sortale ba yemen ke ba
Wodula to fang ya kalamutale ko ayin dimin.
They themselves knew that this thing has really pained me.
Atunko ma mira.
Because I didn't think
O mo sina ko uniform tiyo sina ya wukala.
somebody who is serving in uniform will be treated like that.
How did you react? Did you say anything? Did you do anything?
Yes.
Tell us.
I questioned.
Who did you ask? And what did you ask?
Mimbe marari nyat jefangola mimbe kuo nyatonkoti.
The man who is leading the whole thing.
Tell us who you spoke to and what you said.
Nga nyininka alaji mor nkoy ko muneketa.
I asked Alaji Mor and said, what has happened?
And by Alaji Mor, you are referring to Idrissa Job?
Alaji Mor wala Idrissa Job.
Yes.
And then?
I mean tanin na wala nyintiko.
What did you ask him?
I
asked him, what caused this?
Did he respond at all?
Yes.
What did he say?
The fucking people to milk weapon and arms and ammunition wafi rebel.
What he replied to me was that these are, sorry for the language, these are the fucking people who sell arms and ammunition to the rebels.
Did he specify which rebels?
For I rebel Jumal killing.
Hani. No.
I can see in your statement that you suggested that he said the rebels in Casamas.
Nga jela kuma kan safari ngoto jan sainteng ya itendi je ko ay me itandi wala mindi ko rebelol membe Casamas.
Is that the case?
For wala mkuoti bang?
Yes, yes.
And then what did he say anything else?
For okola fa kuma do fanam fole bang?
Ako hani itol fangala mol mil daba kuoto iba ibeta sotona.
He said that even their own people who are involved in this thing will also have their share.
And do you recall anybody else who was present during this time?
For yakilo si modo fanan to mutano le bang o wato la mebe ma berinje.
Ha ngajile kambandu natina nu halon. Bare nyinga mara nimma nyina fo nuha jamelo.
Yes, another man was brought there. If I can remember properly, I think it was Nuha Jame.
And this Nuha Jame, do you know where he worked?
Ni Nuha Jame to ni yal na be do ko la damemba.
Ngalon ka buta Casamas.
I know that he came from Casamas.
How did you know that?
Ye wolo nyadi le.
Ila nyinin karo kono.
The way they questioned him.
So he was not a member of any of our national forces.
Amunda mandra amanke mod me yalon ko be do ko na tanko bunda hani fanna kilindo jang.
Amanke soldier roti.
No, he was not a soldier.
As far as you know, was he Gambian?
Gambia dingolambang.
Ani amanke Gambian.
No, he is not a Gambian.
I assume he was Senegalese.
Casamas.
Do you know what ultimately happened in this particular case?
The
case ended going to the court.
Do you know whether a conviction was registered?
Well, myself, I came and met them at mile 2.
So he must have been convicted. Well, he may have been convicted. You're not sure?
Not sure about that.
Thank you very much. That was not your last trip to the NIA.
Yes.
In 2008 August, what happened?
2008 August
You appointed as DG NIA.
I was appointed as the DG NIA.
You would agree with me that that is a very senior position in government.
Yes.
In fact, it is an office within the office of the president.
Yes.
And it is almost at the nerve center of government activities.
Andu mosa fono oje ena la office ni abe masakunda la cool te abe masakunda la cool temale.
Ha? Yes.
And ordinarily, this should be a position that requires very high qualifications, correct?
Oto men jarda kake men nyanta kake o makamo nyanta kila makam le me alon ko memba amara la abe anyana kila mul me alon ko alondo soto londi timmare fo to nyande.
Both in intelligence and also probably in academics.
Londi lukare ngola karola wala kulori aning londo lukare ngo fana na karola.
What I can say about this is that my going there, I thought that it is the way I performed my job.
Okay, we can come back to that.
Okay.
Answer the question that I have asked. This is a position that would ordinarily, under normal circumstances, it is a position that would require very high qualifications. Do you agree with that? You are well trained in intelligence. But you would agree with me that this is a position that requires very high qualifications. This is national security we're talking about. You would agree with me?
Yes.
So, did you feel eminently qualified for this position when you were appointed to it? Under normal circumstances, in a properly run country, do you think that you were eminently qualified for this position?
Banko kandame yalon ko kulu katama anyalema e ka kulu fanalu sam landi anyama e silandu ite fanga ya mira fo ya a londo ning amakama timmari ngo sotonne pour ka o dinkira nyaton kaya. Yes.
And you base your answer on the fact that you have done basic intelligence course.
Munta yela jabiro nyi sugi men na wala nyindi ko yelondo karonkele kullo maranyala koto ala fondament folo.
Yes.
And you think that that is enough?
Ya jikira ko kanyantale.
Ngaji ko na experience nga min serve under that unit.
I think the experience I got serving under that unit,
and in the different branches of a million train,
and the different branches that I trained for,
and in the courses of milke,
and the courses I attended, then I thought that to run that post or that position will not be very difficult for me.
But of course, you would agree with me that the intelligence courses you did were basic, ordinary courses. You would agree with me?
Yes, yes, I agree.
But if I
but there were people also who were ahead of me. But I did the same course with all those people. And they were able to hold that position.
The mere fact that those people were unqualified for that post and have been appointed to it does not mean that you having the same qualifications as them, that you are also qualified for the job. You agree? You agree?
No, I don't agree to that.
Okay, we would leave that point and then we would move on. Even David Colley thought he was very qualified to be Director General of Prisons. We leave it for the commission to examine that. But you went to the NIA as Director General, having already had an experience with the NIA not just too long before. How did it feel when you are now made head of this institution?
I saw it as a challenge to me. Because I saw something there before which I didn't like at all. Now I came to sit down at that position. Then it appeared to me that it is my duty to make sure that what is wrong there should be righted. And my intention was to do the correction there and correct whatever is wrong there, or I will leave the place.
And tell us what you did.
When I took over the place,
in fact, step by step. You took over in August, correct? In August of 2008.
August 2008
yes.
And you took over from Benedict Jame, correct?
Yeah, Benedict Jame bulu.
Yes.
Okay. At this time, where was Benedict Jame?
Benedict Jame, Ali?
He was there.
Okay, so tell us what you did when you took over.
When I took over the position, I called all the directors to a meeting to show them the reason why I am there. I made it very clear to them I am from the armed forces.
As DG.
And I have been appointed to come here as their DG. But I am here to do a work. Whenever my job ends there, I'll go back to another place. That's in the hands of Allah.
Yeah, just a moment. Before your appointment, were you consulted?
Yes.
And you agreed to take the job?
Yes.
Were you free to accept to take the job? Were you free to decide whichever way you wanted?
Is that
the right translation? No.
Munta ibe fambulle num pour que palaso nyinta wala namandie yebalam palaso nyintala. Yes, that's how I saw it, because it was the PSC who called me.
Sorry, PMO.
PMO, it was the PMO which called me.
And what did they say to you?
Tender.
And that's where they gave me the letter.
Appointment letter.
My appointment letter.
So in effect, you are not consulted. You are just informed of your appointment.
But they also told me that. They also told me that if I want the position,
nintara malla fala
or if I don't want the position,
ibela fala na fonko ni soto na lodu lalo.
they would like to know my reaction.
Okay. So now you have been appointed, you have accepted this position.
Silanga fela yeta do kola andu sonta makamo nyinkata palaso nyinkata.
So you went to the NIA and you have a meeting with the senior managers.
Itata NIA meeting kumandi memu nyaton kol dije fanna kote ngolla ini wole meeting osoto.
Before we start talking about what you told them,
Janimba da mudara kakacha kula me yemem fo wole je meeting lato.
could you recall those senior managers who were present?
Fo hakilo sa mutano nyaton kol membenu NIA je do ko bunda fanna do la menu benu je itolu.
Na director sol bele bijele.
All the directors were there.
Who were they?
Tolem jumalti.
Yeah, Haidara soto jele.
Haidara was there.
What's name?
Todu.
Haidara fulalo. Momodu bijele.
There were two Haidaras. Momodu was there.
Mbemba binunjele.
And Mbemba was also there.
Mbemba what?
Mbemba nyadi.
Haidara.
Mbemba Haidara.
Which Haidara was present at the meeting?
Haidara jumala gilimbe maberu no meeting lato.
Mbemba le benunje. Initially.
Mbemba was at the meeting initially.
Are you sure it was in Momodu Haidara?
Manke Momodu Haidara.
Momodu natale at the later part.
Momodu joined us at the later part.
He joined the meeting or joined the agency?
Ati natale yalo yentela appointed tataje wa tatebe away.
Well, when I was being appointed, Momodu was away.
Okay.
But after Atifana Nata joined Mali.
Afterwards, he also came and joined me there.
Okay, proceed.
And then?
So, Fenke Soto, Soto.
So was there.
So who?
What am present DGT?
That's the present DG.
Present DG.
Yeah, Diba Soto.
Diba was there.
Yeah, Drame Soto.
Drame was there.
Which Drame?
Drame Juma.
Jim.
Yeah. Sise Soto.
Sise was there.
Sise what?
Sise Nyadi.
Ala first name Nyatara.
I forgot his first name.
All right. Okay, proceed, please.
Ten.
What did you say?
So,
I made it clear to all of them that. Today, it's Allah ordained that I should come and take up this position here. And I am here, and I want to work with all of you. But I am not here to follow anybody. Because I know that this position here today, somebody left it, and I am there today. And there will be a day when I will leave the position and somebody else will take over. And I want, whenever I leave this position, I will go and sleep. Nobody will trouble me. But I also showed them that let's work as relatives. You should see each other that we are all one. Because it is the job which brought us all together here. Let's try by all means and establish the truth. And those who are going to be under our custody, let's keep our minds on them. And whenever we have people under our custody, let's try and observe the rules of the law. And let's try by all means and forget about cruelty or torturing people.
In a sense, you are telling them that illegal detentions must stop.
And that
the tortures must stop.
Yes.
Did you tell them about anything else that must stop?
Foye kuma na bota yin fulo la kuma do fanam foye na ba me yalon ko iko fanam nyanna bulala ba.
Ha.
Yes.
Like what?
Men kamunta ko mu.
Nga foye ne ko na jero to anina moyro to ngani kalamuta ko mol ni mol ka du nyola wala official ni NIA official ni mol ka du nyola ke muta ye arrest ye sambana.
What I also said to them was that I heard that people have problems, when people have problems with each other, and even if people have problems with the NIA, they are arrested and brought to this place here.
And
that's something which I will not accept. Because if anybody has a problem with somebody else,
national issue,
which is not connected to any national issue,
police.
Go take the matter to the police.
That's a civil matter.
Because it's a civil matter. But this place will not be a place where you detain people on personal matters.
Mr. Baaji,
I will not take that.
You said all this because you realized that the NIA was illegally detaining people, correct?
Yen kuma kan be fo katu nyin kamala ko ya kala mutala ko NIA mu keta molden me alon ko e ka mol mutaje ke detain je wala ke sindi je me alon ko ani loi manta fotonya.
Yes.
You also realized that the NIA was unlawfully torturing people, correct?
Yen fanan kala muta ko NIA keta molden me alon ko fanan e ka mol muta ke tajire ya bade ke bute men ni silo manta tonya.
Yes.
You also realized that the NIA was almost available for hire by private citizens who had problems against one another.
Andu ye in kala muta fanan ko NIA keta molde me alon ko keta dingira de me alon ko mol kata dron ke haya wala ke ta do kola ida malte molda malte woni dum da nyola ran ka NIA na ta ke ta do kola ka koleal ni ba itema.
Let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
The NIA was used by individuals to settle their private civilian issues with other civilians.
NIA keta molde me alon ko mol ke munafeila ke damal la kulta ka bang damal te mabantala ika NIA ta ke munafeila wala ke nafa NIA la ke damal la kulta ika bang.
Yes, that could be possible.
It's not about is this possible. This is what was happening and you wanted to stop it.
Amman kan yindi ko ka fa ko asikeno waranta abeke asikeno bari kula me alon ko abeke no nite lafta ka wala bulaje bondije
ntela diamo karo tata minna wolo nyinti ko ini molka jote banta.
Well, what I said is NIA officers, they have problems with people outside. They will go and bring those people. They leave the police, pass the police, and bring these people to the NIA headquarters and keep them there. That's what I said I will not take.
That is, in fact, another limb that I was going to come to. You wanted to stop that one. But equally, according to your statement, that you cannot allow the agency to be used to settle civil matters.
Yes.
So in essence, you were saying that I, as a private citizen, cannot go to the NIA and use them to settle my personal problems with somebody else.
I misalo ta afangala ko atamu banku dingo di nyamente ngai mos ay kolea sota ni modo banda ayta ay muna fanning NIA do kula la pour wena ay damal la ko nyimba ni me kolea ko sota banta la pour kani wote mo bang.
Yes.
You saw this as a problem and you wanted to stop it.
Andu yiti nyinketa kula me alon ko ya jele ko kolea la me alon ka be kiri nja andu lefta la pour ko ngai dang.
Yes.
Why did you want to stop this? You saw it as a problem, we agree. But why is it that you want to stop it? Apart from the fact that it was a problem, what was the fundamental reason why you wanted to stop it?
Muna sabu ite lafta ka ko nyin kadankala ko nyin damba ko ya isobita ko abe keri njel muna sabu ko ijikita ko ilafta pour ko nyin ay dang.
lafta tonyale sabati.
I want the truth to prevail.
Ibe kukela mimu siloti.
If we want to do something rightly,
silo minyi ninkai koleke.
Do what is just or what is right.
Siloti kanake.
Don't do anything that is not right.
Wato mimu siloti nimo ke yo bula.
But if you do something which is not right, then stop it.
In essence, you are telling us that it was against the law for the NIA to be involved in these matters.
Woto wala nyindi ka akamunta ka memfo mole wala nyindi ko nyimu kula de me alon ko ani loi manta pour NIA ke dabula nyi kusivato.
Ha?
Yes.
Tela jeroto.
According to my own observation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's time for the first break. We leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, and thank you, Mr. Baaji. We'll take a 30-minute break and come back at 12:05. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.